What's up? What's up, Tom? What's going on? I can't hear you, Travis.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Good.
What's up, Tom? Tom, I came in there 3 times the other week to watch the movie. I had my little great nephew with me. I had to do that.
I saw Thor yesterday.
See, Jason likes that. I know Jason's into that goofy, wacky side of Marvel. I'm not.
He didn't like it either.
I know. He didn't like it for other reasons, but like I said, he told me it was okay. I don't even think it was okay. I'm not into that.
Yeah, it was bad.
He told me, he said, I know you won't like it. He said, I promise you won't like it. So
yeah, it's gonna go down for me as one of the worst Marvel movies. It was just bad.
Miss Peavy, what's going on, Miss Peavy? Miss Peavy, I see you and Mr. Peavy. Y'all like acting like y'all empty nesters and stuff. Y'all all over the place. What the hell y'all doing? I'm not about to damn send child protection services over to y'all's house. Y'all ain't never at home with them kids. CPS over there. You know, I used to be on the board of directors for Gwinnett County DFAC. I got pulled. You know, Travis is the man.
Oh yeah, let me tell you.
There your accomplice is right there, Mr. Peavy. Y'all ain't never at home. Y'all always out somewhere now. Kids are never gone. I hear you, baby. Oh, never home. I hear you. Never home. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I know y'all always outside, Mr. Peavy. That's what I'm talking about. Always outside. Y'all always in somebody's cookout or somebody's baseball game or some kind of bullshit going on.
Always doing something.
Work hard, play hard. I ain't mad at you.
Exactly.
I ain't mad at you. All right, Travis, go ahead and start this thing. Let's go.
Yep.
Play the clock. Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and J, they coming through. Straight no chaser. Straight from the hip.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats, the this and that to keep this show on point. And when we done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we'll talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey, yo, let's get it poppin'.
That's awful.
Are you happy now?
I can't even. That just catch me off guard every time. I don't know why. I know it's coming to catch me off guard. Welcome to Straight from the Hip. I'm your host, Coach Gerald Boo Mitchell, coming to you live from the Imperial Palace on Black Mania. Guys, I apologize. I had to rush in here. I'm a little bit late. We had youth camp at North Gwinnett today. And so we over there with the high school coaches over there with the youth and having fun and doing all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's just been a crazy day. GFL football is about to get kicked up and going. The largest youth football organization in the country. And my phone rings off the hook. I'm the new president of the GFL. And I mean, when I tell you, wow. I have answered at least 50 phone calls a day. I mean, it's probably been more like 70.
Damn.
But I know for a fact it's been at least 50. And I'm not exaggerating. And the same thing between text messages, social media posts, people getting in my DM. Can we practice today? I said, have you talked to your football director? Ask your football director. Stop asking me these questions. Everybody has a football director. Talk to that person. So anyway, it's GFL is good, Mr. Peavy. And I've been involved with this thing this will be my 22nd year of between GFL and high school simultaneously. And but I worked hard as the vice president. I worked very hard, but this whole president thing is a whole nother level. I came in 4th place, Tom, on Saturday. So am I mad? I'm not mad because it was really the best I could do. I mean, I have never dieted as hard as I did and everything else. And there's nothing more I could have done. Yeah. And I'm very comfortable with that. Am I happy about 4th place? No, I'm not happy about it. But I'm just telling you, that's all I could do. The guy who won was 42. The guy who came in 2nd place was 32. And the guy who came in 3rd place was 47. Wow. So I was the oldest guy in the competition. There's another guy who was 55 who came in 5th place right behind me. Yeah, I ain't mad at you, baby. I feel like I'm 80 sometimes. These knees, I guarantee you these knees could, 80-year-old man be happy to have these knees. I tell you that much. But like I said, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy competing. I enjoyed the journey. I love the fact that, people came out to watch me and whatnot. Had some people from the gym. Jason, of course, was there. Like I said, it was nice. I mean, it really was. My sister came all the way from Florida with her husband and whatnot to watch. So it was a lot of fun. We all had a lot of good fun. And I'm happy I did it. Would I do it again? I don't know if I'd do it again because this the hardest thing you'll ever do. You eating fish and water for 4 days and then eat sweet potatoes for 2 days solid. Tom will tell you, I came up there, I couldn't even get my popcorn. Tom was like, "What? You're not gonna have popcorn while watching a movie?" I mean, that's like that's almost sacrilegious, ain't it, Tom? But anyway, that's the kind of stuff that bothers you the most when you get to doing this stuff. So in any event, but like I said, I'm happy I did it, and it was a lot of fun. And it's fun being back on the bodybuilding scene. And I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy being back on the bodybuilding scene and everything. So anyway, we'll see what happens next. I'm gonna do a powerlifting contest. That was my plans all along, to do one more bodybuilding contest, which I've done, and I'll do a powerlifting contest. And I'm gonna try to squat like 400 something pounds. I'm gonna try to deadlift 450 pounds and try to bench press about 335. Okay. If I do those things, that'll be my goals for the year. So y'all stay tuned. Anyway, moving right along to sports topics. What's gonna happen, Travis, with Deshaun Watson? I mean, we can talk about the way this has been handled.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if I was Vegas, I don't know if Vegas has a line on this or not. I would say we're looking at an over-under probably of a year. Do you think 1 year is a good over-under or maybe a little bit more than that?
I think 1 year is a good over-under. I actually read a tweet from, I think it was Pete Prisco, but it might not have been him. It was some NFL insider reporter. And he tweeted out today that he had gotten insider source from a very reliable source from within the situation that it's going to end up being 6 games.
I don't believe that.
I had a very hard time believing that too.
Yeah. Because even the NFL has said already, they let it leak out that from day one they've told them it's going to be at least a year, and they've held strong to that. Now, I know that Deshaun Watson's attorneys have fought that and said that they want it to be less than that, but I believe, from what I've heard, is that it's going to be at least a year. So it's kind of hard for me to believe that anything could have happened that would. And I mean, I'm just thinking about what a nightmare it would be for the NFL and all kind of protests and everything else. When you have, it's still, at the end of the day, there are 24 women, and he's already given money or whatever and settled cases with 20 of those 24. And I'm just looking at the public outcry that will come from the females who are out there who are going to, march and sit down and not show up and all of those things if he gets less than a year. Tom, what do y'all think, Mr. Peavy? Miss Peavy, how would you feel if Deshaun Watson only got 6 months? I mean, are you okay with that? As a female young lady who watches football, are you okay with him only getting 6 weeks? I'd be interested in knowing how the ladies out there felt about that sentence, if they'd be okay with that. I would be concerned if I was an NFL guy. If he only got 6 weeks, I'd be like, okay, well, here it comes. You're going to have a big-time public outcry over this. And I think there would be. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. I don't think so. I don't think you're gonna see that. So, but again, I would be interested in knowing if Ms. Peavy says I probably shouldn't be okay with it. I know, but would you be? Tom said he ain't okay with it. Y'all know Tom ain't gonna mince no words. Yeah, and I agree with you on all that, Peavy, Mr. Peavy. I agree. Trav, we were talking about whether or not Miss Peavy said she thinks that she shouldn't be okay with it if he only got 6 games.
Right.
I still think he gets a year and has to be reinstated after that.
I think that's
what that's saying.
That's what my guess is going to be too. At the end of the day, I think what Matthew said is what I'm going to go with. I think it's going to be a year, and then he'll have to be reinstated. Basically nothing else happens, no more incidents, things like that, and then he'll come back for the 2023-24 season. I think that's what will happen.
I think I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be interesting either way.
They only got 2 weeks till training camp, so this has got to be coming down soon. They cannot go into training camp.
It's supposed to be today or tomorrow.
That's what I heard too.
But what a nightmare this has been as far as the way the NFL has handled this. This is a damn joke. I mean, I think, putting it all in the hands of that one lady, I think that was another mistake. Yeah. I don't think you should have one person over this. I think there should be several people. I mean, I think there should be a diverse group of people looking into this. I don't think you put this in the hands of one person, and especially that person being a female. I mean, dude, I don't think that they handled this thing properly. So I hear you, Tom. Tom gonna tell it like it is. I'm telling you that right now. 2 years running retroactive since he didn't play last year, and fine him last year's salary. I don't know, Matt. I know that. Yeah, that would make it creative and interesting, but would it be just? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing I'm looking for. I guess that at the end of the day, we could all come up with things and, say he has to go for the next year and talk to Girl Scouts all around the country, whatever. We could make him do dumb stuff and stuff that, we might like to see done. But at the end of the day, is it just? I mean, would it be okay with you for him to do that if your daughter or your wife was one of the ladies who has been victimized in this case? I mean, that's what I would be asking from anybody who is thinking about a just or an unjust punishment is, like I said, if that was somebody near and dear to you who he had done that to, what would happen? Ms. Peavy said, I want to see the NFL have the same energy for all players that have these issues. That's a good point too, there, Ms. Peavy.
Yeah.
I mean, good point, because the thing about it is that, like you said, if it had been your average Joe, say it had been an offensive lineman, I mean, they would have suspended him, fined him, whatever, and been done with it in a day.
Yeah, this wouldn't have taken this long.
Yeah, I mean, this.
I think he would have, average Joe offensive lineman for any team, right? Back up anybody would still be suspended and, still be, have punishment against them. But one, it wouldn't have gotten the media attention, and two, it wouldn't have taken this long. But that's what happens when you're a starting quarterback, right? You're not average Joe NFL player. Yeah.
Tom was saying that he needs to play and be hampered a little bit while he. I don't know. You're right, Miss People. A lot of times you wouldn't even hear about some of these things. So, and I agree with you on that too. So, but in any event, a lot of times I think these things might happen and go and not even really be talked about or whatever. So, I hate to make it a black and white situation, but nothing happens to any of the Caucasian guys that get in the same trouble. Well, that Ben Roethlisberger thing took a while to come out and all that, long time ago. And I think a lot of this stuff, I'm like Miss Peavy, happens probably more. I know it was happening all the time when I was with the Seahawks. I was on that there for 1 year. And good God almighty, we had something every weekend.
Wow.
Because somebody was always getting drunk and acting a fool. And dang, if we didn't have something just about every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. I can only imagine. But I just think that they handled this poorly. I don't know if, this was, for a big thing and all that. And I don't know. I just feel like the NFL has really done a poor job handling, especially Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be the grand poobah. I mean, I need for him to be out front, and I need him to be like, okay, hold up. Y'all, I'm coming on first take, Stephen A. Ask me whatever the hell you want to ask me about the Deshaun Watson case. What's up? Because, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm like, we acted, we did this. I mean, I would be so proactive and being able, everybody's hush. Can't let you know when they're going to make an announcement. I'd be like, hey, whoever's in charge of this, by this damn Friday, I want a damn decision. We need a decision made by this Friday, period.
Yeah.
I mean, put your chest out and do something. I mean, that's what bothers me about Roger Goodell. Oh, well, she's taking her time and she's doing you tell us, hey, enough it is. Enough is enough.
Yeah. If this was a regular case, you would have already made your decision by now.
Yeah. So anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about another quarterback out here in the league, Lamar Jackson. A recent poll came out about top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
And Lamar Jackson was not amongst those top 10 quarterbacks.
Correct.
Travis, what say you to that?
I was a little shocked by it. I thought he would be somewhere in the 7 to 10 range. Mm-hmm. I was a little shocked. I wasn't shocked that he wasn't in the top 5 or 6, but I thought he would have squeaked his way in there. I'm trying to pull up the top 10 list on the what the list ended up being.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers was number 1.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think Mahomes was number 2. I can't remember who 3 was. I know Brady was number 4. I think Josh Allen might have been number 3. And then where I took a little bit of some problems I had with it was they had all these young bucks in there, including your boy.
I know.
They had the Cincinnati quarterback. They had the Charger quarterback. Matt Stafford was in there. Go ahead and read it all.
I got it pulled up. I don't mean to cut you off. But it was just like you said, 1, Aaron Rodgers. 2 is Mahomes.
Yep.
3 is Josh Allen.
Yep. I had that.
4, Tom Brady.
Yep. Had that.
5, Joe Burrow.
Yep.
6, Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
7, Justin Herbert.
Yep.
8, Russell Wilson.
9,
9, Deshaun Watson. And 10, Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And this was a poll taken from NFL executives, coaches, scouts, and players. Now, I don't know if that's every scout, executive, player. I'm sure it's not, but I don't know what the total sum was.
It could be 10.
It was from a group.
It could be 10 people that did that poll. I mean, for all we know. And
yeah, exactly.
They all just happen to be affiliated with the NFL.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, so what are your thoughts on it? You good with it, Travis?
Rodgers, I'm okay. You know, I think top 4, like you said, I'm okay with Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen, Brady. You know, I think I'm okay with that. Maybe I put Brady ahead of Allen, maybe Allen ahead of Brady, right? But you know, I don't have a gripe there. I was surprised that Burrow was 5. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that may be just a tad too high. Stafford at 6, Justin Herbert at 7. I think, you know, Burrow, Herbert, Stafford, those 3, you know, you could probably interchange. I probably would have had Stafford just coming off a Super Bowl win. He's probably 5 to me. I probably would put Burrow at 6, and then Herbert stays at 7. Russell Wilson, Watson, and Prescott. I wouldn't probably have Prescott that high. But that's about where I would think Russell Wilson and Watson should go. I really don't have a major problem with this list. I don't think there's anyone super too high or super, you know, not on the list.
I have a major problem with the list. And I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan. You know I can't stand him.
Right.
But for somebody who was a league MVP, somebody who, because some of them other people on there ain't never been no league MVP.
Yep.
And for somebody who is the total offense for his team, nobody else on there is the total offense for their team. I mean, this man is the total offense for his team.
The only one I would throw out at you, and it's hard to say now, but Russell Wilson was the total offense for the Seattle Seahawks, but he's on the Denver Broncos. But that's one I'm not going to gripe on.
And I agree, and I mean, but I'm just saying that Russell Wilson still had DK Metcalf. True. You know, he had the running back is a doggone grown ass man child.
True.
Chris Carson, who is from Gwinnett County. I used to train him. I mean, guys, I mean, he had tools. I mean, not just DK Metcalf. He had 4 or 5 receivers. I mean, he had a great receiving core. He had a lot of tools. And but I mean, for Lamar Jackson to not even be in the top 10, dude, I think that's insane. And you know how I feel about Lamar Jackson. I think fair is fair, and I just don't think that's being very fair to him. And I'll agree when I think some people said that, you know, some people might have got involved with that poll to make sure that he didn't get in the top 10 because they don't want to pay him his money. And I believe that too. Because like I said, at the end of the day, you ain't gonna tell me he ain't in the top 10. Okay. I mean, I see a bunch of names in that list that I would put Lamar Jackson in there in front of. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Okay, so we'll lead this to a name game. Okay, so I'm not gonna really talk about anyone outside the top 10, right? Yep. Okay.
And the name game is gonna be not whether or not I would choose Lamar over them. It's whether or not I think Lamar should be ahead of them in this list or in there instead of them in this list.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Rodgers.
Hell no. No.
The top 4 we're gonna kick off.
Absolutely.
Right?
It ain't top 4.
Okay. Deal. Dak Prescott, would you put him ahead of him?
Yes, I would. I sure would. I mean, if you look over the last 5 years anyway, man, no way in the hell that man shouldn't be over Dak Prescott.
I agree. Deshaun Watson.
Hell yeah. I mean, even Deshaun Watson, because when you look at the fact, like I said, Deshaun Watson, number one, didn't even play last year.
Yeah.
And so therefore, you have no idea how he's going to come back or what he's going to be or whatever. And if you were to compare his career, has Deshaun Watson ever been league MVP?
No.
Man, come on.
I don't know if he's ever won a playoff game.
That's what I'm saying.
Russell Wilson.
Again, I would argue that would be a toss-up for me, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I can see him nudging out even Russell.
Okay.
Because if you look at Russell's career, like I saw today when somebody outlined it, and the fact that he's never really, I mean, he's been kind of a little caretaker, if you will. He had a real good defense, of course, that got him to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl or whatever the case may be. But like I said, I mean, outside that, a lot of stuff he hasn't really done that much. I mean, he just hasn't. And he had an opportunity to, and had an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, and he peed down his leg.
Okay. Justin Herbert.
Dude, that's why I start getting upset now when you start talking to me about Justin Herbert and Burrows. And all. Man, these jokes ain't. How long they been in the league?
2 years. Both.
2 years. And y'all going to be sliding. I mean, this man, how long Lamar been in the league? 5?
I think 5. I think
5 MVP. I mean, taking his team to the playoffs, all of these things, and y'all just slide these guys in front of been in the league for doggone 2 years. Josh Allen and all these other, man, that's to me is just a straight injustice that you're not going to have this man who is the total offense for his team. The team is bought into his way of playing, and they count on him to go out there and produce the way that he does, and he does it every time. And y'all gonna slide these people in front of him, man? That's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. And I don't like the way he plays. You know me. I don't like the way he throws, all that stuff. But fair is fair. And I just don't think that's fair for him to be behind those people in that poll.
I understand. I get Dak. I can ride with you on Watson because he didn't play last year. I could even understand the Russell Wilson argument because Russell is getting a little bit older. He's 33. But I think that's where I think that's my stopping point. I would take Burrow, Herbert, and Stafford over Jackson.
I wouldn't take Stafford over because before last year, y'all was ready to throw Stafford's ass in the trash can, and probably rightfully so. But like I said, he goes to win a Super Bowl now, and everybody thinks, oh, Stafford is one of the top 10 quarterbacks. You had his ass at least 15 before last season. He was just barely above middle of the road.
I was not a Stafford fan.
I know. And I agree.
Nobody
was.
Right?
Nobody was.
But he showed a lot last year. Now, some of that can be attributed to the fact that the Rams just had a really good team, right? You put the offensive weapons that that Stafford had with Lamar Jackson. I'd love to know what Jackson's stats are, but we've seen the tape of the accuracy issues of Lamar Jackson. So, and that can't be discredited because we've seen it in games where, he's missing wide open guys.
I agree.
So, that's my problem with Jackson. And I think it's really difficult to consistently, maybe not make the playoffs, but he's only 1-3 in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson is, right? So it's not like he's really done anything in the playoffs. He's definitely, I think he's top 10 because he consistently makes the playoffs. But I'm going to, before I put him in the second tier, basically, which is kind of where these other guys are falling, I need him to make a run to the AFC Championship game at least.
I hear you. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean,
and that's the reason why I think Justin Herbert is also too high on everyone's list as well. I see a lot of lists, not just this one, but a lot of other people. Well, they'll even take Herbert over Burrow, or Herbert is in 6 or 7. And I think the dude's super talented,
Dude,
but win a
you don't even
playoff
know if he
game.
is or not. He ain't been around
Win a
long enough
playoff
to
game.
see. I mean, that man been in the league for 2 years. Y'all talking about he's this and he's that, man. I mean, this kills me the way people do this with these quarterbacks. I mean, Baker Mayfield came out, had a decent first year, had a bad second year, decent third year, and everybody's, oh, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Now they're throwing him straight in the damn trash can after 3 years. Straight in the trash can. And anyway, that's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about that real quick. What do you think about Baker Mayfield going to the Panthers?
I think it's good for him. I think it's a good start. He needed to get out of Cleveland.
He needed to get out of Cleveland. He needed to get out of Cleveland for sure.
Yeah, he needs to get out.
I don't know if he's gonna need to just get out of pro football altogether. We'll see.
I want to give him another chance. I want to see what happens when he gets out of Cleveland. He kind of gets out of not that Cleveland is a media frenzy town, because it's not, but being the first pick overall for that city, him basically coming out, not that he comes out the first year and said, we're going to win the whole damn thing, but he had a lot of expectations for that team. It is Cleveland. They do get a little rowdy. I want to see what he does in Carolina. I actually think it's a pretty decent option for him. Carolina's obviously looking for a quarterback. The only thing they have right now is Sam Darnold. He's nothing special. I think he can beat out Sam Darnold. So I actually do like it for Baker. It gives him a fresh start. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I'm interested to see how it'll go. Right? I'll keep an open mind to see if he can actually do it. But I think if he screws this up, I think he's done. If he can't make this work in Carolina, he'll just be a backup for the rest of his years.
Well, it ain't nothing about I think. If he screws this up, he's done. I agree with you on that. If he messes this up, he's done. By the way, I had a kick-ass week because of work. I hear you. I did. I had fun with I love going up there when Tom's up there.
I went up there yesterday.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Man, Thor was terrible.
Yeah, I believe that. Anyway, let's talk about college football real quick, Travis, because you're the college football guy, and I'm gonna let you go solo on this for a second. Okay. What did Matt say? Is Baker a talent issue or personality? I think it's a little bit of both.
I do too.
I think that he doesn't have the arm strength that you need to have to be a quarterback in the NFL, and he definitely has a personality issue.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a personality issue.
I think he's very, very immature, and I think that's his biggest problem, Matt.
Yeah.
But talking about college football, Travis, what do you think about the Big Ten and Big Ten picking up USC and UCLA? I'm gonna let you talk about that for a second. My bad, Travis.
I got you. I do not like it at all. I can't stand it. Anyone that knows me knows I kind of like to keep everything pure. I was against NIL. I do not like this USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. They do not need to go to the Big Ten. For years and years, the Rose Bowl was Big Ten team versus either USC or UCLA every year. I think this stinks. I think it's going to completely ruin college football as we know it. College football as we know it now is changed forever. It started when, 6-7 years ago when the SEC brought in Missouri and Texas A&M and some of these other divisions, conferences brought in more schools, right? When the Big East collapsed and the ACC started plucking people like Syracuse and Pittsburgh, that was kind of the beginning of it. But I was okay with that because it kind of stabled out. But right now, we're going to have 3 conferences. We're going to have 3 conferences, and each conference is going to be 20 people long, or 20 teams. And that's not any way to do football. You can't do basketball that way. We're just talking about football. How is this going to work with other college sports, right? How is this going to work with college soccer, college gymnastics, college baseball, right? It can't work. There's no way it can work. There's not enough money from in the smaller schools, sports, not schools, sports, to make it work. Football, it's not going to be a problem for Rutgers to go to Southern Cal. That's not going to be a big issue. They got the money, or vice versa. But for Rutgers volleyball team, are they going to have the money to go to, go play a game at Southern Cal or UCLA? I don't know. And I just don't like it. I like it being a little more regionalized. If the Pac-12 if USC and UCLA wanted to leave, I wanted them to go to the Big 12. And I would have been, I still would have been not liked it, but it's not a huge discrepancy in terms of location. The Big 10 has to now add at least 2 more teams from the Pac-12 to make this work. Because you can't have such a discrepancy in travel and where they are on the map and where they are in the country to make things work. I'll bring Rutgers and USC, and I bring those two up because those are the 2 farthest apart. When it's 12 noon at Rutgers, it's 9 o'clock at UCLA. How is that going to work? I don't think it can. So I'm going to bring Coach in to let him talk about it.
Well, I think that part of it is I laughed about it when I first heard it because, all you doing is bringing in more mediocrity to the Big Ten. I mean, UCLA and USC ain't been a powerhouse in God knows how long. I mean, each one of them.
They have the potential to be a powerhouse, but they're not, and it's more about money. They want to get in the TV zone of LA. They
might be a powerhouse when you're playing against other teams in the Big Ten, yeah. I mean, but that's my whole point. I mean, the Big Ten has been very mediocre. I mean, who's going to win the Big Ten every year? Ohio State? I mean, just about. Ohio State wins just about every year. I mean, you have Michigan State and Michigan and, a couple other schools, but I mean, that's it. I mean, you say, okay, well, the SEC just has Alabama. Yeah, but now the SEC has to worry about Clemson and all these other folks who were talking about moving over to the SEC. I mean, the SEC is turning into the Wild Wild West now. Yeah. I mean, even it's going to be hell on wheels when Jimbo Fisher plays Nick Saban this year. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that you got Georgia, who obviously just won a national championship. I mean, the SEC is kind of where it's at right now. So, like I said, when you look at the Big Ten and the fact that those teams might be coming over, dude, I think it's laughable. And then I hear that the Big Ten said they're going after at least 4 more schools, if not 6 more.
Yeah, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and what was the other one? I think it was like Colorado or something like that. But it's just bad. It's just we're creating these mega conferences that just aren't going to work. And again,
I'm like you. I don't know that they will work. Hey, Rick Rando, I don't know if they will work, but at the end of the day, let me say I didn't read the entire article, but it's going to cost the schools millions of dollars to leave. Well, and it
$500 million is the buyout for an ACC school to leave the ACC right now. It will cost them $500 million.
Yeah, and it might take them 2 years to pay that back. I mean,
especially if they're going to the SEC. You're right.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it real.
No, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not a whole lot of money, guys. I mean, I know that we all like $500 million. Oh my God. I mean, this is $1 billion industry. I mean, a multi-billion-dollar industry. So that's not a whole lot of money, guys. I mean, when we in terms of what they make, and that's what you need to understand. I mean, I think that every team in the SEC last year they said made like $250 million. That was their profit sharing that they got just for the television rights. Mm-hmm. And that's not all the paraphernalia that they sell and ticket sales and all that. That's just for being part of the SEC. they got like a check for $250 million every school in the SEC last year. Yeah. At least from the football portion of their revenue.
Yeah, and I think like I was talking about, I think that's the thing that's not being brought up, right? Is it's not just that UCLA and USC are leaving the Pac-12 to go to the Big Ten in football, right? We're talking about every single sport here, right? Sport. We're talking baseball, gymnastics, some of these sports that don't bring in any money that are funded by, the schools and this, that, and the other, or what little amount of money they do bring is just enough for their program to survive. But now you're going to have them have to travel to, halfway across the country or more to go do a meet or a game or something like that. Like
not halfway, all the way. It doesn't get much farther than going from Rutgers to LA.
Right. But I'm just saying, like Nebraska to LA would be halfway. But you're right. Yeah, Rutgers to USC, that is the farthest difference.
Yep. Or Rutgers to Oregon. That's going to be a long trip right there, baby. Yeah.
How are you going to do that for the men's golf team to do that, right? Like you can't
and it's going to cost a lot of money. Matt says when that money rolls in, the logistics will get figured out. They be flying in an ultrasonic jet. You get over there, what it man? What's that gonna cost you? What's that gonna cost you to fly a whole football team over there in an ultrasonic jet so you can get there in 2 hours? Hey, makers of the bullet train. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm about to put my money, stock money in bullet train.
Marketing bullet train.
Get a bullet train from LA to New York. Get there in 3 hours.
They need to be working on hover round technology. Like I was watching Back to the Future last week. I was like, hey, what's the hover round?
That bullet train is gonna be good until it hits a skunk in Mississippi on the way.
Till that deer runs out.
I'm trying to tell you. There goes all your stocking and bullet trains right there, baby. Once that happens.
It's not a Greyhound.
I agree. You got that right. Guys, I don't know how they're gonna do it. I mean, I'm like, and we're laughing about it, but just think about it. And especially like me, I hated flying, especially when I was in college. I'm not too crazy about flying now.
Yeah.
But when I was in college, I hated to travel on a plane. And to have to travel that far, I mean, it screws up everything. I mean, I get a little motion sickness and all that and everything else. And then you got to go out there and try to perform and do your best. And all you're thinking about is that 12-hour plane ride back or 9-hour or whatever, dude. That's crazy to me.
And they're supposed to be going to class the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
That's going to be tough. I mean, it's just but it's what it is. I mean, I'm amazed at, I guess, how easily it seems that these people came up with that decision.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're out of here.
Yeah.
So anyway, before we go, folks, we got to talk about basketball just a little bit. And I know we don't have Irv on here today and whatnot. But I'm interested in knowing what you guys think. Where in the hell is KD and Kyrie going to go? And is it possible for them to stay in New York or in Brooklyn and play again next year? Yes or no? We got 9 minutes, Travis.
I think it's possible. I really do. I'm shocked that Durant is not on another team at this point.
Yeah.
I know why it didn't happen like the first few days, right? I would have thought by now he was on another team. I think at the end of the day, he will be on another team because he's basically come out and said that he doesn't want to play for the Nets anymore. But the Nets hold all the cards. If they don't want to trade KD, they are not forced to trade him, and he can't do anything about it. He can't.
I know, but do you think he's going to go back out there and play for him? I mean, are we just going to have like James Harden was doing when he wanted to leave out of wherever he was, Houston or whatever? He was just like,
if I was the Nets, that's what I would do.
The ball and stand around and pass the ball. I'm not taking one shot.
if I was the Nets, I would wait and wait and wait until I got the offer that I wanted. And if I didn't get the offer, I would tell them, you can sit on the bench for all I care.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you would have to be okay with that. And if you are, I mean, that's understandable. But my whole point is that you might have to be okay with that, because I'm not sure that they're gonna do anything. I'm not sure they're gonna do anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, because it doesn't look like there's any takers out there right now. I know there are some people saying that maybe, and they might do something, but Tom says everything's possible. You just have to believe and work for it. And I agree with you, Tom. I understand what you're saying, but first of all, this whole thing about KD and Kyrie being best friends, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, because that doesn't even seem like they even talking. And it wasn't until Kyrie said he was coming back that KD said, "Get me the hell out of here."
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's your best friend. I mean, come on, guys. I think that's overplayed, but I don't think there's any way in the hell they can stay there and play with each other. I don't see that. So I think that if I'm the GM, I'm like, dude, we got to get something here going. I mean, got to. And I mean, and you gonna do like this. You're gonna blink your eyes, and it's gonna be the beginning of the basketball season.
Yeah.
So I think it's imminent. They need to have emergency meetings trying to get both of them the hell out of there. If it were me.
At this point, though, I don't know where they're already talking. It's going to have to take a 3-team trade to do it. No, there's no 2 teams that can really do a back and forth trade. I don't know, and like I know a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago, when it hit free agency, the Phoenix Suns were the kind of the leading candidate,
yeah,
right. But that all hinged on DeAndre Ayton going to the Nets,
right.
Well, I just read yesterday that DeAndre Ayton to the Pacers is basically a done deal. That it's all they got to do is sign the paperwork and it's done. So if Ayton's not going to the Nets, what are the Nets going to get from the Suns for them to give up, Durant, other than just a bunch of picks, which I don't think that's what the Nets want. I'm sure the Nets want some players to at least be competitive. You have to. So,
well, I heard Golden State ready to unload a bunch of players.
I've heard that too. But again, who are you going to have? You're going to have to give up every young player on that team that has any potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably either Draymond or Clay. Obviously, Steph would still be for Golden State, but you probably have to get one of them. They're not going to
give up either one of them. Yeah, they ain't going to give up any of them. I think you can get that. They give up anything else. They ain't going to keep that nucleus.
Well, if I'm the Nets, I'm not taking it then.
I hear you. I mean, and I agree. And that's probably why it hadn't happened.
Right.
But supposedly Miami's meeting with them now. They had dinner last night, the 2 GMs.
Yes.
And everybody's thinking that they're trying to work on a deal there.
That was the team. That was the team that I heard was like from day one was the sneaky. You need to watch out for the Miami Heat because they could pull this off out of nowhere. And the more and more
Pat Riley's a wheeler dealer now. Pat Riley's a wheeler.
The more this is taking, the longer this is taking, I think it will end up being the Heat at the end of the day.
Interesting. What about Kyrie? Where does Kyrie go?
Lakers.
For who?
I don't know. Russell Westbrook still play over there?
Yeah, and AD.
And AD? I could see that.
I think that they would. Well, Russell, obviously he is, accepted his money and all that for, renewing his contract and all that other stuff. So he's saying he's locking in, but I think they can get rid of him and AD.
Yeah.
And I think that would be very appetizing for Brooklyn to get both of them. I mean, those are 2 big superstars.
Yeah.
Now, could they coexist? I mean, a lot of people saying Russell Westbrook is just a problem because he's just not that good anymore.
Yeah, well, that and there's the money workout. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know, the NBA does work on a salary cap. Now, you can go over the salary cap if your owner is willing to pay the luxury tax, but that's still the minute you go over that luxury tax, they're paying a hefty price. Now, again, it's the Lakers, so they may not care about that.
Right.
So it may be the Lakers, but I have no idea when this is going to happen.
I would love to see people, whether it works out or not, I'd love to see them go where they're trying to go. Now, I don't want to see Kevin Durant playing for Brooklyn with Kyrie, and just because they couldn't find deals for either one of them, and it just be a train wreck. And, you know, you got people out there arguing and fighting with each other and throwing the basketballs and, you know, just ruining the game. I want to see that. So get them the hell out of there, wherever they want to go. You know, I mean, not at any cost. Obviously, you got to, you know, still protect your team and build your team. Right. But get them the hell out of there and be ready to, you know, move on and let them be happy wherever they're going. And then, you know, hope that karma catches up with their ass. Right. Because, you know, Kevin Durant has done a bunch of stuff like leaving when he left, when he was in down there in what you call it?
Oklahoma City. Oklahoma
City, yeah.
And Golden State.
And Golden State. So karma's catching up with him. And so let him do whatever he wants to do. Let him do his thing. Yeah. And then just hope that, you know, you made the right decisions about getting rid of him and you doing the right thing. So now you can do the right thing. Yeah. And you can take care of your business. So anyway, that's where I am with it. Well, Travis, it's 9:00. It's time for us to get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Folks, I apologize for getting in here late today. And, you know, we had a little bit of an abbreviated show. But, and that's my fault. Travis is always on the ones and twos and, you know, sending out the link for us to get this thing going and all that. But, so I apologize for that today. Miss Peavy, Mr. Peavy, Matt, Tom, I know I saw Rick Rando, some of you others on here. We appreciate y'all for being here. We got to get out of here for the night. We'll see you guys next week. And I promise I'll be on. Oh, you know what? Next week? Yeah. I'll be doing it from out there we're at football camp next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'll be doing it from out there at football camp. So anyway, good night, Miss Peavy. Good night, Tom. Love you guys, and we'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night. Good night, Miss Francis.
Straight from the hip.
Thanks, Travis. I'll holler at you.